Just occasionally in sport, a rivalry can be so fierce that it elevates both participants to greatness. A rivalry where, despite the bitterness and rage, one man cannot truly shine without the other. A rivalry that lasts a few years inside the sporting arena, but outside continues for a lifetime. On November the 7th, 2011, Joe Frazier passed away. His untimely death laid to rest one of sport's most enduring rivalries. And centre stage was his lifelong nemesis, Muhammad Ali, the man whose shadow Frazier had never truly escaped and who was still eclipsing him now. Their 3 fights in just 5 years captivated the world.
For 15 rounds, I want to beat on him.
Here. Oh, it was a thriller in Manila.
But their mutual animosity went way beyond the confines of the ring.
A man that ugly wants to hold a crown and represent us.
You look at him and laugh, there's something wrong with the guy. You got to be safe.
They sparred verbally.
They might put my tail in jail and get me out on bail after what I do to Joe Frazier.
I would like to see the fight go the distance because I have something for a man.
And never hid their mutual contempt.
I'll get you. You done nothing, man. I will get you.
Joe felt, and not, I don't think unjustifiably, that Ali demeaned him.
Joe Frazier! Joe Frazier!
Bottom line, their fights, they're always going to be hyphenated. You can't say one without the other, especially Frazier. It's Ali Frazier hyphen in there.
In 1964, a precocious young boxer named Cassius Clay rocked boxing by stopping the seemingly unbeatable Sonny Liston. Brash and cocky, the self-proclaimed greatest fighter of all time revolutionized the world of heavyweight boxing.
Muhammad Ali had so many things. He did things no heavyweight had ever done before.
I am the king of the world.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
I'm pretty.
Hold it, you're not that pretty.
I'm a bad man.
Wait.
I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
Hold it. Joe,
But it was what he did next that truly shook up the world.
why do you insist on being called Muhammad Ali now?
That's the name given to me by my leading teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's my original name. That's a black man name. Cassius Clay was my slave name. I'm no longer a slave.
After beating Liston, Cassius Clay changed his name to Muhammad Ali and admitted to being a member of militant black Muslim organization, the Nation of Islam. Overnight, he had become a political figure, a symbol of the anti-establishment. And as he continued to dominate the heavyweight division, he polarized opinion in the traditionally conservative world of boxing.
He became much larger than the sport itself. And that was something boxing itself was not used to.
So in 1967, when Ali refused to fight in Vietnam on religious grounds, he was banned from boxing and saw his title revoked.
I will say directly, no, I will not go 10,000 miles to help or kill innocent people.
In '67, he was banned. 3.5 years, and those were his prime years.
You didn't see him at his peak until 3 years he was out. That would have been it. And, you know, I feel bad about that because I wanted the people to see how dynamic, what a great fighter he is.
While the world missed the dancing feet of Muhammad Ali inside the ring, a bulldozer of a fighter from South Carolina looks set to take his place. A former Olympic champion like Ali, Smokin' Joe Frazier could not have been more different from the dethroned champion. If Ali was a boxer, a blur of speed and feints, Frazier was a fighter, a human wrecking ball with a brutal left hook.
Joe Frazier was a hell of a fighter. Joe Frazier belonged in any era. Perfect style. It was slick, smart, slide shots. Difficult guy to fight.
I actually like Frazier better because his style is a lot easier to understand. You don't have to interpret that. You don't have to worry about whether he's feinting or throwing good left jabs or he was trying to lull his opponent into a false sense of security. He just went out there and threw punches. It was pretty basic. By 1967, he's starting to build a momentum, and people are seriously starting to say, hey, if Ali was still around, you think he'd beat Frazier? And for the first time, you started to say, well, Frazier's got a chance.
A knockout tournament was then devised to determine who would take Ali's crown.
Frazier wins the New York Championship by beating Buster Mathis, who had beaten him in the amateurs in the Olympic trials. He comes back and knocks out Manuel Ramos. Now there's rumblings of Ali coming back again.
By the time Frazier unified the title by beating Jimmy Ellis in 1970, Muhammad Ali was talking to whoever would listen, and he had the champion in his sights.
Hey, fellas, to see Joe Frazier, holla. How you doing? Trying to find Joe Frazier.
He was like running around talking about I got this title, and he wants to beat me up. I was ugly, you know what I mean? And said I couldn't talk and I couldn't walk. I was too small to be a champion.
Traditionally, I have the real belt. And for Joe Frazier to be a champion, he's got to beat me. See, those eliminations were only imitations. He's not the real champion.
Frazier knew he would never be accepted as a champion in his own right until he fought Ali. Desperate for that chance, he even campaigned for the return of Ali's boxing license.
I said, I'll go and get the license. So I went down to President Nixon, went to the White House, sit down, talk to him and his family, had dinner, and I asked him, Mr. President, I'd love to ask you, will you let him have his license back? He said, you think you? I said, I got it, Mr. President. All you gotta do is give him his license. All right, that'll be granted. I'll give him his license. Said next week he'll have his license.
And so, 3.5 years after being banned, Ali was back. The fight all America wanted to see was inevitable. A date was set for March the 8th, 1971.
I want to make one prediction. I'm not calling around. I predict that when I meet Joe Frazier, this will be like a good amateur fighting a real professional. This will be like a kid out of the Olympics meeting the fastest heavyweight champion that ever lived. This will be no contest.
The day, man. You understand? I just you're not fighting Glory, you're not fighting Oscar Bonavera, you're not fighting Sonny Liston, you fighting Joe Frazier.
Everybody knows that's not the point.
That's the point.
John, what's your prediction?
My prediction, the fight wouldn't go the distance.
Oh, it won't
I'll
go the
stop
distance.
it.
Stop me.
You.
How soon? What round?
Look,
Don't let him obligate
1
you.
to 10, you be out there. I want to bet you.
It was a natural rivalry because he became the champ while my guy was away.
The rivalry had already begun, and as always, Ali fanned the flames.
We started, you know, gimmicks, nicknames. We embellished that. It's good. So Muhammad's going, you too old, you can't beat me, you too ugly.
Joe Frazier is too ugly to be the world heavyweight.
He got his little gimmicks and little schemes and little plans and little phony ways about him, you know what I mean? But as far as I'm concerned, he's all right with me.
I'm the one that the promoter wants. I'm the one that can talk, write the poems, predict the rounds. I'm beautiful. They're ugly. They're slow. They can't talk. I'm the one.
He was the Louisville Lip.
Joe's gonna come out smoking, and I ain't gonna be joking.
He was this brash young man.
Joe Frazier is so ugly, his face should be donated to the Bureau of Wildlife.
He was a self-promoter. He was colorful.
This might shock and amaze you, but I will destroy Joe Frazier.
He spouted poetry, you name it.
Ding! Ali comes out to meet Frazier, but Frazier starts to retreat. If Frazier goes back an inch farther, he'll wind up in a ringside seat. Ali swings to the left, Ali swings to the right. Look at the kid carry the fight. Frazier keeps backing, but there's not enough room. It's a matter of time. There Ali lowers the boom. Now Ali lands to the right. What a beautiful swing! And the punch lifts Frazier clean out of the ring.
Talk all bad about me, come to my gym, went to my house. Oh man, he was wild.
How can I lose with the stuff I use? If he dreamed it, he better wake up and apologize.
It was typical Ali bluster at first. Then the insults became more personal and more vicious than before.
Ali frequently mocked his opponents, but his comments were rarely cruel. The one time he went over the line was with Joe Frazier. Ali was angry. He'd been banned from boxing for 3.5 years, and Joe was the symbol of his oppressors.
Ali didn't like Joe, and Joe didn't like Ali because of his name calling he was doing with Joe. Calling him Uncle Tom and everything, and boy, and all that, you know. And Joe didn't like that, you know.
Uncle Tom was an insult that suggested a black person was subservient to a white person. Ali had used it before when he faced Ernie Terrell in 1967.
Why don't you call me my name, man? Well, what's your name? You told me your name was Cassius Clay. I never told you my name was Cassius Clay. Well, my name is Muhammad Ali, and you will announce it right there in the center of that ring after the fight if you don't do it now. For the benefit of this broadcast, him, all right? You acting just like an old Uncle Tom. Another fraud copper. I'm going to punish you. Let me tell you something, man. You ain't got no... Back off of me. Back off of me. Uncle Tom. That's what you are, Uncle Tom.
Like Terrell before him, Joe Frazier had also refused to call Ali by his Muslim name.
He changed his name. Changing his name, Mama carried for 9 months. And then you changed your name and didn't get the consent from Mom. That was right.
Insist on calling me Clay. Oh, Uncle Tom. I'm Uncle Tom.
Ali was happy to play the race card, even more so given that Frazier was financially backed by a white-run organization called Cloverleaf.
You had Muhammad Ali, who was the symbol of the anti-war movement, the exemplar of black pride. And then on the other hand, you had Joe Frazier, who fairly or unfairly had become the fighter of the establishment.
The irony of Muhammad Ali becoming this militant in the 60s is he had a beautiful lifestyle. Joe Frazier worked on a sharecropper's farm. His father had one arm. Frazier was doing work of an adult when he was 10, 11, 12 years of age. Frazier was always doing it tough. So I think Frazier felt that, you know, for Ali to belittle him when he really went through that life, that was pretty much, you would say, that's the stereotypical life of an American black man. I think that grinded at Frazier and at his personal feelings. So it really did become very, very personal, that they were really willing to risk everything.
This was clearly no ordinary fight. The boxer versus the slugger, the loudmouth against the humble country boy, the deposed champ against the current incumbent. Ali versus Frazier, billed fight of the century.
You had two great fighters, each of them undefeated, each of them with a legitimate claim to being heavyweight champion of the world.
There's that old story that styles make fights. Joe's style was exactly the antidote to Ali's.
This is Joe Frazier fighting me.
My style was good to fight anybody when I beat him up.
This is nothing but a target for a man who can stay on his toes, who can... That's what he's gonna come out smoking with you, he said. Must be crazy.
Clay gonna get out there and he gonna try to jab and jab.
Sticking him with that fast jab.
I'm gonna slip and slide, pop him with body shots, and I get over to the right-hand counter.
All Joe Frazier's relying on is a couple of good hooks. He's fighting a fighter who's not even scratched. I very seldom get hit.
It's a championship fight, and if he wants to run, put him out and take him to the track, he in the wrong place, you know?
It's impossible for Joe Frazier to outbox, outpoint Muhammad Ali. He'll have to knock me out to win, and that's still impossible.
People all over the world knew that fight was happening. Nobody was neutral that night.
I don't know about who's win, but I hope Frazier does.
Muhammad is going to win the fight.
Muhammad Ali.
I favor Frazier.
I think Clay will win.
Never in my lifetime have I ever seen a boxing match capture that kind of worldwide attention. They had 21,000 people in the Garden that night. They could have had 221,000 people there.
Tonight, they will all admit, they will all say how wrong they were. Listen to me now. This will be no contest.
He outreaches Frazier by 8.5 inches. Frazier's hook's falling short. That's a good left hook, and he gets it home to the head of Clay, and Clay's hurt. And they're really testing each other's strength and endurance. What a fight this is turning out to be. Oh, there it is! The left hook!
No, he ain't no fighter. He's a boxer. He didn't run, you know what I mean? But I tracked him down. I cut him down. He could run, but he couldn't hide.
Frazier's joy was short-lived. 3 fights later, the now undisputed champion met the new force, George Foreman. Knocked down 6 times in just 2 rounds, Smokin' Joe looked finished. But his rivalry with Ali endured. Frazier wanted to prove himself once more, while Ali still pined for revenge. No longer undefeated champions, they needed each other. And so the pair were scheduled to fight again in January 1974.
I want Joe Frazier right now. I don't need to wait for no January 28th. We can get those right now. I'm going to stop all this mess.
Ali won the bouts by unanimous decision, but with neither fighter holding a title, it was an unmemorable occasion.
The second one I eliminated. It was like a hammock. First and third were great. The second was there.
Everything changed in October of that same year, though, when against all odds, Ali beat Frazier's conqueror, Foreman, in Zaire. For the first time in 7 years, a very different Muhammad Ali was world heavyweight champion.
Are you still as fast as you were? I'm not as fast as I were. Man, I'm so fast last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark.
With his world title and his self-confidence restored, Ali sought one final payday with his old enemy. They would meet in the Philippine capital of Manila in October 1975. Once again, the pair traded insults, and the rivalry was more personal than ever.
Joe Frazier took too much pounding on the head. Joe Frazier's a human punching bag. His day is over.
The third fight, he labeled Joe a gorilla with all of the ugly racial stereotyping that involves.
There he is, Joe Frazier! Joe Frazier! Joe Frazier! Joe Frazier!
I can't see anywhere I look like any gorilla. We supposed to be from the same ancestor. When a guy speak upon another man like that, he's not quite sure himself.
You all were sending a pretty champion to Manila to represent the Americans and the brothers. Here's Joe Frazier over there. They say all Negroes look like that.
There are things that Ali said to Joe that I'm sure he forgot 10 minutes later, but they cut very deep.
Frazier, if he was here, nose turned that way, ears turned that way. How you feel, Joe? I don't go shape, I mean, me and my left hook's in shape. I mean, I think I'll get this man. I mean, I'm pretty fast. I mean, yeah, this, maybe, you know what I mean? No, man.
It's not going to be a first-round knockout. If it get to that point, I want to go over and help him up. You understand? I want to take him to the distance. I want to take him to the bridge. I want to beat on him.
He's saying he's going to whoop me for 15 because that's his excuse. He don't have his hitting power no more.
When you knock a man out, you take him out his misery. Suffer him a little bit, beating on him, that hurts him more than anything in the world.
And I'm the true champ and he's the tramp, and this fight will prove it all.
Same old great stuff. Run around, I'm the greatest, I'm the smartest, I'm the fastest, I'm the prettiest. I said, light, bright, damn near white, huh? Okay.
I think he just enjoyed doing it. It was fun from his point of view.
He said, the only reason I be saying all those things is to build up the gate where we both can get good money. You know, he said, I don't mean no harm. I call Patterson the rabbit. I call Liston the bear and everything. He said, I give them all names. I didn't mean no harm. But Frazier took it very serious.
Joe would tell Ali, you know, and Ali wouldn't listen because he figured, I got your goat now. I'm going to keep egging you on, make you forget about everything. And that's what he did.
You might be Joe Frazier in the ring, but Joe was too pure a fighter to be psychologically dominated.
He would like for his opponent to get all riled up and get carried away. That way you kind of forget what your plans are.
On arriving in Manila, Ali was, as always, the center of attention. Publicly, he was confident. Privately, he knew Frazier had toughened up in preparation for the fight. Frazier himself was desperate to defeat the man who'd so cruelly mocked and belittled him over the past 5 years.
I'm sure Joe Frazier's in top shape. I'm in top shape. Joe predicts he'll win. I predict I'll win. So we'll just have to wait to see who's telling the truth.
He trained hard for it because he knew Frazier was tough. And we didn't underestimate him. You know, we knew that. Ali trained hard for that fight.
I'm gonna do something to Joe Frazier. It's gonna be such a good whooping, such a dynamic beating, that I'm just gonna dance and move, and in my glory, I'm gonna be in my glory, whooping Joe Frazier, and then I'm gonna stick him, and he's gonna fall.
On October the 1st, 1975, Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali faced each other for the third and final time. The world watched two aging gladiators exchange brutal blows for 14 rounds in a classic heavyweight battle.
Neither guy was as good as he had once been, but their downward curves intersected at just the right point. It was a historic battle.
The oddity of that fight was that it took place indoors. It was at Araneta Arena. Tin roof, hot, Klieg lights. I don't know how both fighters survived the fight.
They weren't fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. They were fighting for the heavyweight championship of each other. Ali controlled the early stages of the fight. Then Frazier came on. He wasn't just beating Ali, he was beating Ali up. Ali somehow found it within himself to come back, turn the tide once more, shut Frazier's eye.
At 13 rounds, we knocked the mouthpiece 5 rows back over that fight. So we won every round almost. You know, now if it had gone 15 rounds, he was gonna knock Frazier out.
'14th round, we almost decapitated Joe Frazier. So I'm telling my guy, great, you got the guy, and little did I know, he got up, the fight was over.
Eddie Futch, Frazier's trainer, stopped the fight, quite possibly just before Ali's corner might have had to stop it, because Ali had hit the wall and there were questions as to whether or not Ali could fight anymore.
This eye was closed. So therefore, I could have got hurt. He said, no, let's stop it. No. I said, come on, Ed, no. But then we didn't know that Muhammad wasn't going to come out. That's not our job. Our job is concerned with our corner.
Believe me, it never happened. I'm the only guy talked in the corner, and then Muhammad never talked back at me. I would shut him up if you were shut up, take it easy. No, never, not a word about quit. What quit? Muhammad didn't know what quit was.
In the heat of Manila, both men had proved their greatness, not just to the world, but to each other.
Greater than I thought he was. He's great. When I say great, his style is a style that only he can be successful with.
I thought that my man fought a good fight, and I guess we'll be beating each other sometime again, I hope anyway. But when you see him and I, it'll always be a fight, that's a promise.
I'm considering retiring to let Norton, Foreman, Frazier, whoever, fight for the title. I want to get out of it.
But it was Frazier who retired first. Ali went on fighting for another 6 years.
He certainly should have retired after the third Frazier fight, the Thriller in Manila. There's no doubt about that. And he damaged himself by going on.
After being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1984, Ali's health deteriorated rapidly, and there was little sympathy from Frazier.
I talked to Joe. Joe said, look, he said, I can't talk. Look at him. He can't talk at all. See, he said, God don't like ugly. He talked about everybody. Now, look at him.
While Ali became an international figure, Frazier retired into relative obscurity. For the next 40 years, he harbored a bitterness towards the man who'd overshadowed him during his career and during his retirement.
He was hurt. But, you know, how do people show their hurt? Some in anger come out, some ignore, and some just burn inside.
Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. 40 years of insult, barbed quips, and occasionally begrudging respect. Polar opposites, they gave the world 3 great fights. But their rivalry will be remembered for so much more.